PowerPoint presentation, Certificate for Early Childhood Education. The code for the subject is ERLD12, Early Childhood Reading Development. I am your tutor, Elsie Harases. Contact details 081-3979-482. My email address is elsiearases43@gmail.com. You can contact me from 2 o'clock up to 7 o'clock. This presentation is for April, August, November 2022 examination. Good day, students. I am your tutor for Early Childhood Reading Development Year 1, Semester 2. I would like to welcome every student to the presentation of 2022 for this subject. I hope you will enjoy your studies and end on a successful note. Contact me via phone, SMS, or WhatsApp, or email, or call me. The contact times is from Mondays to Saturdays from 2 o'clock up to 7 o'clock. I am more than willing to assist you in any case of problems you may experience regarding the subject, the assignment, or examinations. As you have noticed by now, the content matter for this subject is quite an extensive workload for this academic year. I advise you to start studying and prepare you well in advance for the examinations. Paying special attention to this presentation, you may be successful and pass this subject. General information. To fully understand this subject, you may have to read through and study all the units in the study guide. Thoroughly work through the learning outcomes and learning activities in each unit. All examination scripts are set in 3 levels. Each question usually starts with a verb. Therefore, it is important that you pay special attention to these verbs. You will find a well-constructed list of these verbs and their meanings in the beginnings of your study guide. Please make sure that you understand these verbs because they will guide you on how to answer the questions. Read your instructions clearly before you answer the questions, and also look to the marks allocated to each question and give your answers accordingly. Most common verbs to lead questions. Level 1, to define, to describe, to outline, to explain, or to list, state, or to name. Then we go to level 2, verbs, to discuss, to compare, determine, differentiate. Level 3, contrast, critically discuss, argue about. The format of the examination, all 3 examination scripts will count out of 100 marks. All questions with sub-questions should be answered. Duration time is 2 hours. All questions are compulsory. Read questions carefully with understanding to avoid wrong answers. Marks allocated is a guideline for the amount of fact that's needed. As reading is a big concern in Namibia schools, I thought it wise to concentrate more on reading aspects. For example, the first one, how can a teacher motivate learners to read? By read with expression, perform the voices of the different characters in the story, read slowly so that learners have time to think about what is happening. You as a teacher must show that you have fun with reading. Pause to let children study the pictures, to understand and relate to the story. Pay attention to your learners. You might stop and ask a few questions to help them connect with the story. Pause to let them predict. Ask questions like, what do you think will happen next? Motivate them to guess. Never shut down predictions. Always encourage them to other possibilities. Ask the learners to pretend to be the characters themselves. Why did they behave in a particular way? Pay attention to the learner's body language. If they get bored and fidge, adjust your reading. You can also shorten the time to read a book next time. Children need time to develop interest in books. Read stories aloud that are short and have bright colors. Be sure of their likes and dislikes and make sure this element is included in each reading time. Children who have difficulties with visual memory may also find it difficult to perform the following: copying from the chalkboard, replicating information on worksheets, comprehending reading, remembering side words, remembering what was read, reproducing figures from memory, will only copy one letter from number at a time from the board, transferring learned words from one medium to another. What is the benefits of reading aloud to pre-primary children? Help them to associate reading with warm, pleasant feelings. Learns them about word, language, and expand listening skills. Learns them how language of books differs from spoken language. They listen to sounds in words and notice similarities and differences. Build vocabularies. They gain background knowledge about a variety of topics. They can talk about the characters, setting and plot of the story. Learn about print concepts. Print is spoken words written down. Letters in words are written in a certain order. Written words are separated by spaces. What is the criteria when choosing books for pre-primary learners? Big, bright illustrations, simple stories with basic plots, books that help answer a preschool's why, questions about their word, rhyming texts, classic stories with universal themes, friendship and generosity. Activity books that encourage exploration, observation, and play. Bedtime stories to calm them down after busy days. List the major components of reading instruction: phenomenon awareness, phonics, spelling, fluency, reading comprehension. Identify the 7 important benefits of reading aloud to children. Please note, this is the benefits of reading to all children, not pre-primary children only. They develop stronger vocabulary. They build connection between spoken and written words. They provide enjoyment, increases attention span, strengthens cognition, provides a way of exploring emotions, promotes bonding. Then we continue. Define a reading readiness test. It emphasizes the skills required for the early stages of reading. These skills include oral vocabulary, rhyming, visual matching of figures, letters and words, naming letters and reading words. What type of learner support can a teacher offer to help a learner who experiences vocabulary problems? Play oral and written word exercise with games. Point out important, useful, and difficult vocabulary words before they read the text. Offer opportunities to encounter target vocabulary words beyond the context in which they are taught. Taught vocabulary words should be used often in oral and writing. Teach vocabulary via instruction and independent readings. Help children to use context clues to understand the meaning of words. Provide examples of helpful and less helpful clues. Read to class each day. Pause and define new or interesting words while reading to your class. After reading, engage them in conversations about the book. Engage children in conversations every day. Try to include new and interesting words in your daily conversations. As a future teacher, plan and explain how you will create a visually pleasing reading corner in your classroom without expensive furniture and at the minimum cost. Transformation of a small section of your classroom into a reading corner. You will need books, newspapers, magazines, bookshelves, carpet squares, cushions, posters, pictures, CD player and CDs, picnic blanket, outdoor space like the grass or under a big tree, soothing music in the background. Illustrate the ideas that you could use in the entrance foyer of your school to inspire a love of reading amongst your learners. Signs on display about reading. Maybe a slogan such as "Learners who read succeed." Notice of reading events, visiting authors, book awards. Photos of children reading, staff reading, other reading role models. The principal's recommended books of the week. Promotion on the public library. There are 2 stages in reading processes, pre-reading and reading. Shortly explain both stages. The pre-reading stage is where the teacher activates background knowledge, set purposes, introduces key vocabulary terms, and previews the text with the learners. This involves the teacher giving learners information about the books they will be reading. If it is a historical book, give background about what will be happening in the book, why that is important, why that is happening, and how it come to be. Informing them of the purpose for reading, personal interest lists, circles, and expectations of teacher, basal, or lit focus units. The first look at the book, cover, any illustrations, the chapter, titles, etc. The second stage, reading, is where the learners begin reading the material through any type of reading, body reading, shared reading, or guided reading, etc. It includes reading strategies or skills, the explanation of illustrations, reading from beginning to end, and note-taking. Explain how young children will benefit if their spiritual growth is encouraged by teachers and parents. Always accentuate the positive. Have you ever noticed those suffering from a low esteem tend to focus on the negative? This indicates that such a child needs to be like him or herself more. Give children the opportunity to tell you 10 things they need about themselves. Prompt them to state things they can do well, things they feel good about. You will need to provide prompts. This is also a great beginning of the year activity. Always avoid criticism. Those suffering with low self-esteem struggle the most with giving criticism. Be sensitive to this. Analyze and comment on strategies a teacher can implement to make reading fun and motivate learners to become readers. When you read to children, read expressively. Add inflection to your voice when you read out loud and perform the voices of the different characters. Read slowly so the children have time to think about what is happening. Record yourself reading aloud and listen to the recording to see if you are reading in an engaging way. Have fun with reading so that the children notice your enjoyment of the book. Pause to let the children study the pictures to understand the story and to relate to it. Through this, they are understanding that the words they read are describing these images. Pay attention to the children. If they seem like be bored, stop and ask questions about the pictures or the story so far to help them connect again. Pause to let the children breathe. If they are old enough, pause in the middle of the book to ask them if they think they know what will happen next. Never shout down predictions. Either encourage them to think in terms of possibilities that might happen. Ask the children to put them in the character's shoes. Why do you think the character perform or behave in a particular way? Adjust your reading based on the children's body language. If they are moving around, commenting on other things in class, you know that they are bored or distracted. No, you need to add more inflection to your voice or asking interesting questions. You may also just need to shorten how long it takes to read a book next time. Children need time to develop interest in books. Always begin reading stories aloud that are short and have bright colors. Pay attention to what they like and make sure this element is included in each reading time. This is the end of my presentation. I would like to just advise my students, when you are doing your assignments or when you are writing, we know by now that we are doing it online. Make sure that you follow all the steps that is stipulated, and make sure before you upload that all your questions are answered correctly. During examination, do not copy and paste. Rather use your own examples or just use your own words to answer questions. I would like to wish you all success with your examination and with your assignment for 2022. All the best for 2022. Thank you.